And let's dive right into the first panel of the day. And remember, the first panel always sets the tone on the quality, dynamics, intensity. No pressure, dear panelists. And let us introduce our panelists. We have Annette Kauppinen, CMO of Meeat. Hamutal Yitzhak, CEO of Health and Nutrition. We have Zbigniew Lewicki, Chief R&D and Sustainability Officer at LIPTON Teas and Infusions. And the panel discussion moderator, Piotr, Grabowski, co-founder at Foodtech.ac. Let us welcome them all on this stage with applause, please.
Hello, everyone. Hello and welcome. On the second day, we already had our warm-up. We talked almost an hour downstairs. So we are cheerful, I guess, this morning. Everyone's happy. Everyone's in a good mood today. We'll be talking about the Food 2030, how it influences our climate, our planet, ourselves, what kind of predictions do we have. My amazing guests are today from many industries because Annette runs a plant-based company in Finland. Zbigniew is working in a tea industry for over 20 years. He's super experienced in that. And Hamutal is changing the nutrition of kids, infants. So, you know, the variety of the topics we'll touch today is pretty broad. And for the beginning, as warm-up after our morning warm-up, I would like to ask you guys, like, one short question. What's your biggest achievement, professional achievement in the last year, the one you are most proud of? Annette, maybe you will start.
It's difficult to say. I'm a bit boring, but I say that it was definitely when we were recognized that we are the market leader in Finland, and with the very bright numbers. All the others were far away. So that felt good that we're doing things right. And
you built that business in it's 3 years already, yeah?
2.5.
2.5.
Yeah.
The largest plant-based producer in Finland, yeah? The revolution there started a bit later than in Western Europe, yes?
Yes.
Yeah, like, well, you were actually the one kind of ignition of that revolution.
Yeah. Yes, I was part of it. Yeah, I think we started a bit, not much later than the other parts of the world, but we did good catch up. We are a small country, so I think that we have nowadays around close to 10% vegans and vegetarians, but the flexitarians are the biggest market for us and what we are looking. And that's increasing. That's already close to 30. So we're getting there. The market is coming.
Okay, so being number one, getting to be number one, it's your achievement. Zbigniew, what's yours?
Hello, everyone. Good morning. I think LIPTON Teas and Infusions, for those of you who don't know, is the spin-off of Unilever. It's a 2 billion company. I would call it a corporate startup, and this is kind of my place in the conversation. I would break the rules and mention very quickly 3 things of the last 12 months. One is to launch the first artificial intelligence-based agri-tech technology, which is called Internet of Tea. The second one is to unleash the power of plants through flavonoids and heart health claims that we did on LIPTON Teas in the US. And the third one is very important, a small thing like a tea bag, make it biodegradable. So this year we achieved 44 billion tea bags, which are fully plant-based, fully biodegradable. So those would be the 3 things, and sorry for breaking the rules.
44 billions of tea bags, and you made it all biodegradable. That's huge impact on the environment, yes? And it's just the start of the technology you're working on, yes?
Yes, one of the exciting things indeed.
Yeah, so as you see, Zbigniew comes from big corporation, which is going down, doing spin-off, being more and more startupper. Maybe we will see you in 3 years as a startup representative here. I don't know, but you have that drive for innovation. Okay, Hamutal, so what's your achievement?
So I think the most important achievement that I'm proud of is like changing lives of new infants that had those issues with dairy or with soy, which are the only options in our industry, which is the infant nutrition. And we have hundreds of stories of customers that are telling us how we changed the lives of their children, some of them with very, very severe cases of allergies or not absorbing the foods, not growing up, failure to thrive. So that drove to a very big success in the US. I think we're 2 years in the US market. That's where we started. And then today, we are a national brand in all the 50 states of the US, with presence in more than 12,000 stores on the retail side. And we're growing. We've grown 10 times from last year. Last year, we've been in 1,200 stores in the retail side in the US, and now we're in over 12,000. So it really makes just a signal of the awareness and of the quality of the product and the brand, and that's what I'm proud of.
You did actually, started from Israel, but the first thing you did was the most difficult one. So, okay, what's the most difficult thing you can do? Let's go to US, yes? But it paid off for you.
So yes, I mean, the US market was signaling us that they really want the product. Even before we were commercial, before we were even listed, we are a listed company in Toronto. So even before we raised the significant funds, many parents from the US were approaching us by email, by all kinds of communication means to tell us, give me the product, we need the product. And we understood that this is the best market for us to start with. It's the largest market in terms of the economics and things like that, besides China maybe. And the path is very difficult because we are in the most regulated, I think the highest regulated environment in the food industry, because we are an infant product.
So good that you made it actually, even with all that difficulties. But we'll get back to that later. Yes. Okay, Annette. I'll be switching the order sometimes. But Annette, some people say there is a lot of discussions, especially here at Foodtech Congress, that some people say that plant-based revolution is over. It's passé. Some people say that it hasn't already started yet. Like, what's your point on that? What worked previous years in plant-based, what didn't? What is still to come by 2030?
Yeah, I think it started and it went a bit down because it was similar thing what happened in 2000 when we had the internet bubble bursting. A little bit similar. That there were a lot of companies which were overvalued, so they came down. So I think that it's a little bit same happening now. That also there's been a lot of companies who are doing plant-based meat alternatives, for example, with no high standards. Like they haven't been, the quality haven't been really good or healthy enough or too processed, and the users, our consumers are a little bit tired for that and a little bit upset, and they are thinking that if they are switching for the plant-based, they want to have a good quality food which is also nutritious and healthy for them. So I think that now we are actually having a little bit going down, and we lost some clients, but the new becoming it's just the beginning now. That companies like we realized also that when we started to work only 2.5 years ago, that we did a lot of meat alternatives like burgers and all kind of sausages and balls, like the applications that people knew from the meat life. And they were not perfect, but they were good enough to enter the market, and people are eating it because the taste is king. And then when you have a good enough product and people are thinking that, okay, actually I can switch, I can have my meatless Monday, I can take steps, step by step, then they are kind of satisfied and they start to change their habits slowly. But if you're not getting there, that's the problem. And we realized that, okay, we are going to have this market for a while, like with these products, but we have to develop all the time new ones. And finally, we are on the stage that we have finalized our fermented production lines, and we're going to have first totally clean label products made out of fermented fava beans in the end of the summer. So then the launch is
what
having.
are top
So we have
three-
to change our business as well to follow for the trend.
So 2030 plant-based product, 3 most important value in that product. Clean label, yes.
Clean label, so including short ingredient list.
Okay, short ingredient list.
Healthy, and I think healthy includes everything. I'm not going to say all of that. And then also tasty. It has to be. That's always tasty, clean label, and healthy.
Okay, thank you. Zbigniew, we are tea trading started in 17th century. So it's been such a long time that we should already know everything about tea. And recent years, however, your company is running more and more R&D around the tea. Why? What still can be improved in the tea? What impact will those achievements have in upcoming years? What's the tea of 2030?
Yeah, wow, what a question. I will start with how privileged I am in the role which combines R&D and sustainability. And I see the mission here as creating this fusion of science and nature to really unleash the power of plants. And we are all here about unleashing this power. Tea hasn't been really discovered in the world.
Hasn't been?
No,
Okay.
at scale. And let me explain why. I think that 30 years ago or 25 years ago, we came up with the first dietary guidelines on 5 a day, which is consuming fruit and vegetables and your fibers, etc. I think there is a wealth of bioactive components in fruits, roots, leaves, and flowers. One of them being flavonoids. I am having this cup of tea here that provides you, the 2 cups of tea during the day will provide you with around 400 milligrams of flavonoids, which then in turn is critical for your heart health, for your gut health. So this is just one simple example of the power of this plant. It's a true superfoods which haven't been genuinely discovered. And my message here is bioactive components is the future. And the awareness and the new dietary guidelines, including tea, herbs, and other nature-based ingredients, is going to change the world. And what we are doing with that is, of course, a lot of studies to prove the effects, health effects, flavonoids being one of them. And the other one I would really ask you to test is theanine, is the component of tea, only present in tea and a couple of mushrooms. But when combined with caffeine, it creates the state of calm alertness. And I would really recommend 2 cups of tea and see the effect for 3 hours versus, and not to really demonize coffee, but your spike after espresso and then a long dip afterwards. So yeah, I'm a little bit worried in the conference, not enough cups, but hopefully attention was brought here. The final point on the science of tea is actually we have extensive breeding programs, genomic selection. We have 39 own clonal varieties. If you think about wine, and I know that some of you supplemented polyphenols with some wine last night, hopefully without side effects. We actually, if you compare it to wine, think about Chardonnay, Merlot, and other clonal varieties of wine. We do the same in tea, except the world doesn't know that, but at some point, tea wine and those clonal varieties will be discovered. So discovery is on the way.
Discovery is on the way. But will there be any changes in tea, like in itself? Or like, will it change, or will we just discover more positive effects? Like, how do you see this?
Well, I think definitely an awareness. Yesterday there was a lot of talk about food as medicine and functional food, and I think this is really a superfood. We need to do more in terms of creating the understanding. The second one is we need to do more in terms of understanding the breeding, what is in there, what to guarantee the right level of actives in every cup. And of course, really manage this as a nature's factory with no interventions which are completely kind of damaging potentially this natural beauty of tea.
So I wish ourselves that there will be times we'll be going to the doctors. He will say to us, like, instead of taking pills, just drink more tea, for example. That's going to be perfect.
As one of the options, of course.
As one of the options. Okay, Hamutal. you've picked yourself, as you said, extremely difficult market, nutrition of toddlers, babies and kids, which is currently dominated by large corporations. Many people don't have enough courage to compete with those companies. What is more, you decided to revolutionize that industry with plant-based products and develop a formula for infants, which is even more challenging because it has a lot of regulations. Why is this difficult game, worth a candle?
So it's not that I decided to do that. It was a natural decision that was done actually by chance. The fact that I'm a veteran of this industry, I was the head of Similac in Israel for many years, and my partner was also from that industry. And when we had a family incident that was a very allergic child in the family, and that's how it all started. It's not started that because one day I woke up and just said, I want to revolutionize the infant nutrition industry. It just happened. And then when we saw that we saved her life with the product that we thought about, we decided to take it commercial because we are commercial people. We have this background. So yes, it is, I would say, the most difficult pathway in the food industry because it's, besides developing a very innovative product with innovative ingredients and novel foods, it has to be regulated. It has to meet very specific standards and formulations and compositions which mimic the human milk composition. You cannot create an infant formula without doing that. So it took us about 7 years to develop, first of all. And then we started commercializing the product, raising funds and taking it to the most remote market from us. We are in Israel, an Israeli-based startup, and the market was in the US, the first market. And besides that, we had to go and take the FDA pathway, which is a clinical study to demonstrate the safety of the ingredients, the safety of the product, show the proper growth of the infants, which currently we are in the middle of that pathway. It costs a lot of money, it takes a lot of efforts and a lot of headache. But why does it pay off? We can connect the dots just from this conversation because there are lots of companies that are dealing with plant-based other foods for adults, but there are very few that are dealing with infant nutrition in the plant-based space. And I think the answer is in that sentence. Being unique and being able to differentiate ourselves very, very uniquely. And we're also heavily protected in patents and IP globally. So
just shortly for better imaginary of what we are talking about, what are your top three products and in what form they are?
In what form?
Form, yes.
So the best seller is currently the toddler formula. We don't have an infant product
in market. It's powdered, yes?
It's a powdered form. Now we're getting into liquid form, like ready to feed, which is a very strong category in the US, in North America in general, mainly for kids, but also for toddlers. The infant is our next product.
Okay. So look at it, please, because it's really kind of revolution is coming here. Annette, I wanted to dig more into that, the Revolution Technology 2030 context. You've built a great foundation on the pea-based products, like simple ones like sausages, but now you are actively researching new ingredients, yeah? What kind of ingredients are you working now? Why? I know you're working with fermentation. Why is fermentation so important for our gut and health?
Yes, the fermentation is really important because the enzymes are helping us to digest better. And nowadays, the gut health is extremely important. A lot of people are suffering with that. And we have also, when we've been eating a lot of meat replacements and used pea protein, unfortunately, it makes us a little bit swollen. And what's the word in English? bloated. Sorry.
Bloated, yeah.
Sorry about that. Yeah. So it makes us bloated. So when we started to kind of study more about the fermentation and getting deeper on that, we made a slogan that it's hearty but not farty. So trying to kind of understand that we're really giving people good quality solutions which are keeping your body healthy and happy at the same time. So fermentation is, of course, really old and traditional way of preserving foods, but it is creating also prebiotics or probiotics, and we see that it's also helping your stomach in many ways. So we truly believe that when the food is already halfway kind of digested, it will be a good food. But on the top of that, the fermentation is actually making the fava bean, what we are using, sorry about this, it's making the fava bean very nutritious. So it's helping the proteins to absorb better to your body. It's quite rich in iron, and we are able to even add there some vitamins, but that's our IPR, and like we just patented it. I will tell more about it a little bit later, but it's going to be revolutionizing a lot of things. And on the top of that, I think that we don't have to anymore do a lot of only meat replacements. Now we can play with the protein itself. There's meat, fish, chicken, and then there is the fermented fava bean as a protein source.
So you work on the fermentation of fava bean, yes?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. What's the first product based on fava bean, fermented fava bean?
It's going to be the bites and minced meat.
Bites?
Bites, yeah.
Oh, okay,
they are
the
like
small ones.
Yeah, small
and minced
ones.
meat.
Yeah, but it's great because the fermentation is also doing the pH between 6 and 7. So it means that it's very neutral. It doesn't have the fava bean taste, which is pretty strong otherwise. So the fermentation is making it neutral. So it's up to the chef how good food you want to do. It's really sucks all the spices in.
So plant-based future, remember fermentation. Okay, Zbigniew. You are mastering tea as a product. Mastering the tea as a product is not the only thing you work on. Basically, your company is applying tons of technologies on the plantations and in the supply chain. Tell us about the most crazy ones.
All right, so I will start a little bit with a perspective. If you look at the conference and if you look at the amount of intelligence, I'm talking about technology, human intelligence, if you think about potential tools that could be deployed in the food system, it's incredible. But if you then reflect on what actually happens in agriculture, and particularly in the more traditional sectors, it's really extremely slow. So I think we collectively have incredible responsibility to make sure that technology, the data platforms really travel where they are most needed. So we are really, I'm just doing a little bit of a trick here with the phone. We are really at the very beginning of this humble journey. One of the technologies I mentioned at the beginning is something we co-developed with Microsoft, with Capgemini and University of Cranfield, and we called it and trademarked it as Internet of Tea. It's basically the platform that combines soil data, crop health, weather patterns, and it provides an intelligent way and live, so I can access actually our garden in Kericho.
So which garden or plantation you have now open? What's the location?
Sorry, I went to my email. That's Kericho. It's the kind of the largest garden next to the Mau Forest, which is one of the top water towers of East Africa. And basically that technology allows us to minimize impact on climate because you improve your yield, you target your fertilizer input, minimize it, make it very precise. Ultimately, we can use drones to do the almost per plant targeted application. And that's something that hopefully travels across the industry. And I have a definite belief and vision that tea, among many crops, could be one of the first to reach planet positive status when it comes to overall carbon. So that's one of the elements. The other elements, maybe just traveling into the world of tea and herbs. A lot of herbal ingredients are also coming from the wild habitats. And I think the philosophy in this industry is about not using any chemical artificial interventions. It's really understanding the plant biology, biochemistry, and natural processes. So in the way you approach it, you only use pressure, air, temperature, humidity, and understanding of what happens in the cell. And actually, through some of the technologies, we can force cells to do something that the factory would do. Just by steering all the other parameters, you force plant cells to process themselves. So that is really where we are looking at helping the industry move forward, working with a lot of knowledge and partners externally, because that's not something you can just do by yourself.
Yeah, but I really like, this connection of LIPTON working with Microsoft. That's amazing. Do you have an admin permission to change something at the garden?
I wouldn't do it. I would leave it to the regenerative agriculture team. I want to create no mess in the operations.
Okay, Hamutal, where do you see kids' nutrition in 2030? Like, what needs to change from the current state and why?
So I'm looking at technology as harnessed to do what nature intended. That's what we are trying to do, and we already started this adventure. We, for example, saw that there were certain minerals that were exceeding the regulation, that kind of risking the infant's lives in the plant-based or in the plants that we are using, which is buckwheat and almond. So what we have developed is a technology which is all natural, and it's an all natural process. Now it's also covered with a patent that is demineralizing some of the minerals from the buckwheat, but keeping everything else intact, with intact proteins. All the chemical structure of the plant remains the same. And this is something that was done for 1 year during COVID in our labs in Israel, and we are very proud of that technology because it keeps the natural aspect of the plant, doesn't change it, and still it meets the regulation, it meets the health, let's say, requirements that are needed for a certain population, which is, for example, the infants, but in other cases, it could be anyone else. So that is one thing that I see as the future of food. I will always look at what nature intended and not try to do something else, because I see a lot, as just was mentioned here, a lot of products in the plant-based arena that are ultra-processed. We are doing only minimal processing of the ingredients that are not clean, that are genetically modified to survive all kinds of pesticides, which we don't want to have. So I see the industry, the food industry, going towards the more natural and healthy direction. There's no other way in my eyes. And also avoiding the need to take any medications in the future, which we will only do preventive preventive medication, nothing that has to do with medicine or drugs or anything like that. That's how I live today, and that's how I wish the entire planet or the entire world population will live in 2030.
I see we agree, low processed, clean label, like a lot of, so remembers fermentation, a lot of those hashtags from today to remember. Okay, we are almost over, but I have one question to each of you, just brief answer, because each of you surely has some food tech and agri-tech technology of the future that inspires you, that you actively follow, and which is not necessarily for your your main area of scope. Could you tell us briefly, 30 seconds, which the technology is your favorite one? Hamutal, you can start.
So I think
Zbigniew, you will start.
I'll give it a.
I relate to what you said.
Okay.
To reply, or do you want me to reply?
Yeah.
So you were saying something about genomics, and this is something I really am very interested now in following, by really changing the nature of certain plants to survive certain climates. We are dealing with it now with buckwheat, for example. And we are. My vision is to change. For example, buckwheat is a plant that it has a single crop in a year. And if the crop is good, then you have a lot of production and the price goes down. Everybody's happy. But if the crops, from some reason, and it's worldwide, is not good, then everybody is struggling with pricing. There's no capacity. There's nothing, and we are reliant on that. And as a growing company, we need a lot of buckwheat. So genomics, alteration,
Seed genomics.
yeah,
Okay.
seed genomics is very interesting to me.
So I think that hydration, drinking, has much greater, faster effect on health than potentially diet. I wish huge success to Moritz Mitte yesterday, changing the way we drink more sustainably. And artificial intelligence, there will be ChatGPT at the end, where artificial intelligence fully understands the power of the super plant. This will create personalized nutrition and hydration advice, and those platforms, as Mitte presented yesterday, would deliver planet-friendly solutions.
Annette?
Yeah, fixing the food system in the world, it's really important, and we have to eat less meat. We all know that, and we need therefore a lot of different technologies to do it. One company that I follow closely is Onego Bio. It's a Finnish company who is doing fermented egg white, or is it the egg white made out of animals? So it's through the precision fermentation. So it's really interesting to see.
Precision fermentation.
Yeah,
That's your hashtag.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, thank you very much. That was amazing discussion. I think like we agreed, but we also covered many topics here. I encourage you strongly to network with my guests, to find them in the app, or just catch them after our talk. They'll be here, happy to talk to you about fermentation, plant-based, tea, ChatGPT, and other things. It was a pleasure to have you here. The room was pretty full. I was so happy early in the morning. So thank you very much, and I wish you a pleasant day. Thank you.